Alrighty, so what's going on, guys? It is Marcus, Taylor, and Justin here, and we're going to be talking about microtransactions and their place as a whole in the gaming community or gaming market, I guess you could call it. Mostly looking at one of the big games that we're talking about is Elder Scrolls Online. A big one that you could talk about would be Evolve. When that first came out, that had I wouldn't really call them microtransactions. It was almost like chunks of the game were made into like marketable content. And there's also mobile gaming as a huge one that basically thrives off of microtransactions. You'll get Clash of Clans. That game is almost like entirely farmed for microtransactions. And the main reason I wanted to talk about this one, or we wanted to talk about this one, was because Fallout Shelter just came out, and they have a pretty balanced kind of system in their game. Fallout Shelter, I've kind of noticed, is it's like a typical mobile game, right? It definitely doesn't lack that aspect. It's a mobile game at its core. I don't think it was overrated. It's still a really fun way to kill time, and it's got so many references to the Fallout universe. And as a whole, as a game, it's pretty cool. Like it's a really fun little time killer. But aside from that, it's still a mobile game. And it does have the lunch boxes. I don't feel like the lunch boxes really make up like I've spent like $5 or $6 the first day, just because I want to see like what you get like if you spend $5. So I spent a little bit of money on the lunch boxes, right? I don't really feel like there's that need. Like I've played other mobile games in the past, like Marvel Future Fight is one of them. The first day I played that game, I think I spent $20 on it, because I it's just had that formula, that formula that some mobile games and other games will design, that you feel like you need to spend money to enjoy the game almost. Clash of Clans was the same way. In my journey playing Clash of Clans, I probably spent about $50 or so in the game on gems, because that kind of unlocked the energy, or it wasn't energy, but it was building troops that you had to do in that game. And microtransactions are becoming more and more relevant outside of mobile gaming, because I think companies are seeing how much mobile gaming places or companies are making. Because I think Supercell was like the top grossing for a long time because of Clash of Clans. Like Clash of Clans was number one on the leaderboard of top grossing, which is scary if you think about it, because it's a free game and it's
Yep.
on top of the leaderboard for top grossing. So that's that
Like
should
if you
show
look,
you like how much just microtransactions as a whole makes for gaming companies, because like that was like the biggest game for the longest time. It's still a really big mobile game, but regardless, they make millions off of microtransactions, maybe even billions. I don't even know. What were you gonna say, Marcus? I'm sorry.
no, like I was just saying, like free to play has been thought to be kind of like the new thing that's going to take over the industry
Mm-hmm.
because it gives the illusion of this is free. You can go download it and play right now, like without paying anything. But you got to pay something to start getting into the game. Like League, League's probably the most profitable game that's been made
But at the
because
same time, I can also defend League and say that like you literally don't have that urge to spend money. Like I've spent money on it in the past, but it was because I loved the game so much, and like
yeah,
it
yeah,
was the only
definitely.
game I was playing for a while, so I didn't really feel guilty for sinking money into this free game, because it was a game that I really enjoyed and it was like all I played at the time, so I just sunk my money into League. Um, but yeah, back to what you were saying, it's free to play is becoming big, but it's not free like at all. It's not designed with the intention to be like you can play this for free and you won't ever want to spend money. I think it's kind of deceitful, like the way that these games are marketed, because games like Clash of Clans, like you're given about 10 minutes of gameplay at a time, and then you can either wait for 2 hours for another 10 minutes of gameplay, or you can spend it's maybe $1 at a time that you would have to spend to like restock your troops or whatever. But you have to spend $1 and you can play the game for another 10-15 minutes, but then you still got to wait again or spend more money on the gems. And it's kind of like it's like a gameplay aesthetic almost, where it's designed to be, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like it's designed to not be a complete game experience, and they want you, like, obviously, yes, they want you to spend money, like that's, and that's the core of any game or business or anything like that. Um, but it's almost like these mobile games and free to play games are made without that intention of people actually being able to like play them. Um, Trying to think of any other mobile games. Like, what's another popular mobile game right now?
Mobile?
Um,
What would you say?
yeah,
Joe?
like
I'm saying mobile game or MOBA?
Mobile or
mobile.
I wouldn't really say MOBAs are as guilty of it. Like League of Legends, they don't actually have gameplay aspects. Like there's no gameplay aspect. You can't even
It's
buy
all
runes.
aesthetic.
What'd you say?
It's all aesthetic.
Yeah,
well,
it's
no,
all
you
aesthetic.
can buy stuff that makes your character stronger.
No,
Though.
you can't. Not in League. You can't
You can
buy
buy
runes.
and stuff.
No, you
Oh,
can't.
You can't.
That's only with IP. So that's why I feel like League of Legends isn't as guilty of it, is because there's no like gameplay features or skill increases that contribute to you, spending money and in the outcome doing more damage or being able to restock your troops. Like these people that are on the top of the Clash of the Clans leaderboards for like all time, obviously they're spending tons of money on it because they always have troops available and they're always raiding people and getting their rating up in the game. It's just like a lot of games are now welcoming that kind of spend money to progress kind of mentality to their games. Addison actually told me, he's my brother, he told me that they actually have like experience crowns that you can buy in Elder Scrolls Online. Is that true, Taylor? Like, have you played it enough to know what they have like in the microtransactions?
I actually don't even remember microtransactions, to be honest with you, but I do remember about the crowns. So yes, if I remember correctly, you can buy the crowns, which is the currency in the game. I think it is. You can buy those in multiple packs, but again, like I didn't play it long enough. The game is not fun. It's not fun. I couldn't play it for more than maybe 30 minutes total. I tried. I couldn't do it. So honestly, I'm not really the guy you want to ask.
Did
for
you
that.
play the original as well as Unlimited, or did you just play Unlimited?
I played the beta for the original,
Mm-hmm.
but my laptop at the time, I had a laptop
Oh, yeah, that
and
was
it
back
didn't
before
run
you
it.
had your
Yeah, it
PC.
didn't run it that well, so I couldn't really get that far. But I bought it on the Xbox and nope, couldn't do it.
Nope.
Couldn't do it. They told me, I didn't listen.
Yeah, I was one of the original, like I had the original game. Ryan, our other friend, convinced me to get it because it was out. Like me and him were hanging out. He's like, "Oh, dude, Elder Scrolls Online," and I was like, "Oh yeah, that'll probably be pretty cool." Like if it's anything like any of the other Elder Scrolls or Bethesda games, it's not. Spoiler alert! In case you haven't watched like the millions of people reviewing the original.
It's nothing like the original.
It's nothing like
Nothing like Elder Scrolls.
Elder
If you go
Scrolls.
play, if you go play the latest game, you can play Skyrim, or you can go play Elder Scrolls One. It's not going to be anything close to that. The gameplay is bland, clunky. It's just not fun.
There's no immersion in the game. Like I don't really care for Angry Joe anymore, because of his like he's just out there now. But the main thing that he said when he reviewed that game, I still liked him at the time, was the lack of immersion, and like there was nothing else that described it better than that. Like you feel like you're in this fantasy world, but then with that game, it just felt like it was a cash cow game that was made to make money, like with no other purpose. Like when I was playing the PvP on that game, they had these big huge open battlefields that you could run across, and like everybody in our troop like unit had horses, and so I'm like, naturally, I can run faster on a horse. So after that I looked it up, like how much is it to get a horse, with the in-game currency, and it was like an unreasonable amount of money. Like you would have to be level capped to get a horse. So I was like, okay, well, I know that they sell a horse as well. So
I
how
couldn't
much is the
find
horse? The
horses.
horse is $15 in real life money when I've already paid $60 for this game, and then I had to pay $15 for the subscription fee. So that's $75 I had
that's
to
how
spend
they-
day one.
That's how they get you, though. Like, they put the microtransactions,
Yeah.
and they're like, well, they're not necessary. But see, you either pay the money to do it, and you give them your money, or you grind, you
Or you
turn
just,
the game into
you
a
pretty
grind
much wait,
fest.
because like
and
what
bore
I would have had to
yourself.
have done was either like figure out A, how to even play the game to get money, or B, like get to like that end game or whatever and finally have a horse, or just run for 20 minutes longer than the people on horses had to do. So I felt like in that situation, aside from just totally like being bored to death by the game, PvP was apparently its redeeming aspect, and I didn't even really get to enjoy PvP because I didn't have a $15 horse that I could ride on. And aside from that, I also forgot to cancel my membership, so I got billed like another $15 for that terrible game. That's honestly the worst game I've ever played. Me and Ryan were playing that together. We'd probably been playing it for about 20 minutes, and we'd been like questing, and he just asks me, like, we're on Skype, he's like, are you enjoying this? And I was like, not really. Are you? He's like, no, this is pretty boring. And I don't think that's ever happened with a game before. Like, I've been in it for like 20 minutes, and then me and my friend are just like, you having fun?
That's aside the point, though. Basically, like, with the microtransactions, there's multiple reasons why they're good and then they're bad. Like, I don't mind them as much because I don't care to waste my money on them. I mean, they're good for free-to-play games like mobile, like Fallout, for example. It's good for Fallout, so that way you don't need to spend hours upon hours in this game. Feel that, there's a lot of people out there who like want to play the game, but they don't want to spend forever staring at the screen waiting for your stuff and resources and the dwellers to come. I
think for the most part, people just buy them because they want to get the rare dwellers. Like, they want to get the 3 dogs.
That too. They want to get all the rare stuff, and that's okay for that kind of game. But it'll either ruin. You'll either spend so much money on it, and then you'll like stop playing it, or something will happen to your game, or you'll get bored of it. But it's okay for. In that aspect, with Fallout, it kind of kills the playability because then eventually you get all this stuff and you're like, well, this is not that interesting anymore because you just bought it all. You didn't really earn it. Mm-hmm. It's good for League of Legends type games because all you do is unlock skins to make your guys look cooler.
Yeah, there's literally
it's cool for that because the game,
that.
It's a free to play game and they got to make money somehow, and it's cool that they offer such awesome skins and characters and stuff, and then they keep that updated over time.
Exactly.
So they keep giving you more and more cool, like really cool stuff too, not just like little whatever. But it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible when it's pay to win. So when you got like Battlefield games and like you got to pay for something. I don't know if it's a Battlefield game.
No. Battlefield was ridiculous with their last game with the battle pack things. Like, weren't certain attachments only obtained through those like battle chest things that you could buy?
Yeah, certain attachments, but they were more of a cosmetic thing. Like, you can get like a tri-dot beam sensor thing or the tri-dot red dot sight or whatever if you got through a battle pack compared to the single dot red dot sight. Like, it's useless shit like that. They didn't usually increase performance of the weapon.
But then they also had where you could buy for $15, you could just cut the whole progression system.
Yeah, that was broken. You can buy every
stupid too.
Yeah, because you
can buy every weapon.
It's unfair for people. Sorry.
No. Keep going.
It's unfair for numerous things. Like, it's unfair to me because I like to enjoy the game and play it.
Right.
I don't want to spend my hard-earned money just to get ahead in the game because I enjoy playing it. I'm not one of these casual faggots that just throws money into their games to be good at it. So then you jump ahead with these powerful ass weapons that people have no clue how to use, or whatever the case is, and then they're jumping ahead just because they pay for it.
I feel like it unbalances the game too. Like,
because then you got it works both ways for like kids. There's a lot of kids that play games and their parents will just shell out tons of money for it, or there's kids that will they can't pay for stuff like that, and you got other people who can, and it's not fair to them. They can't really play the game with these people who have the most overpowered stuff. They just get handed to them because they want to pay their money. I mean, it's a great way to make money for the business. Obviously, it's at the end of the day, it's a business. You're there to make the money, but it's a really big cancer to a lot of
a terrible way, like,
gamers.
I was gonna say something, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah.
Any games that have any side towards any type of pay to win.
Like the way that Call of Duty used to do their skins. Now they don't do it that way anymore. Like, they have more of these like purchasable weapon skins, where before you had to get so many headshots to unlock it. That pisses me off too.
I hate that.
Stuff like that where they just have like these, like, I know they're cheap and all, but like, what happened to the getting kills and headshots and stuff to unlocking the skins?
That was fun, and I like that, and I hate that they took that out.
They still got it, but I mean, it's like the ones that people are going to think are cool and like the animated skins and stuff, those are the ones that you have to pay money for. So they're purposely, designing the more aesthetically appealing ones to cost money. I can't even really think if I have anything to add on. Marcus, what do you got, Mr.
I
Button?
mean, you guys pretty much covered most of what I was going to say. You guys pretty much nailed everything. I really don't see a problem with microtransactions, and
If they're
the
done
industry.
I think if they're done for aesthetics, it's okay. But a lot of games are using it as a gameplay. Like either you can play or you can win the
Yeah.
game by paying money, and I think that's
Pay to win.
that
Yeah.
ruins the point of the game, because the point of a game is to have either a challenge or to have the game to be genuinely fun, and not I'm paying $10 to make this game genuinely fun. Like I prefer to actually buy my games on mobile. Like I've been looking a lot actually lately for games on mobile that just cost money to buy the game rather than it be free to play, and I know I'm gonna end up spending like $30 in the long run or whatever. But usually I'll end up quitting those games anyways. So
That's another issue I have. Is like games keep coming out. I'm not going to stick with one game for years and years, and eventually I'll go back to it and play just for fun. Like Fallout 3, I go back and play it every once in a while, or Far Cry, or Mass Effect, games like that. But I'm not going to go pay money for a game unless I'm initially buying it. I'm not going to go pay the microtransactions because I'm never going to go back to it. Eventually I'll stop playing. Something better will catch my attention, and I won't touch it anymore.
yeah, and I think that's kind of what these like the logic behind these microtransaction filled games is. Like they know people probably aren't going to be playing the game for a long amount of time. Like Clash of Clans actually got really big, so obviously they made a lot more money I think than they intended to. So they actually kept the game patched. Like that game actually still gets like pretty regular updates, but
Yeah.
unfortunately I got extremely bored of it and I couldn't sink money into it anymore. So I just ended up quitting it and selling my account. Actually, I sold it for $30. So
I actually
made a little
just
bit of
picked
money
it
back.
back up. I actually got a lot of people at my work that play Clash of Clans, so it's
My only
nice.
thing was the social aspect of it. Like, wasn't really the greatest. Like when they said they were gonna do clan wars, I was pumped for that because I thought you'd actually be able to play in like real time with your friends, but that wasn't the case, unfortunately. But that's aside from the point. Microtransactions, they're okay if they apply to a cosmetic. But again, like what we said is, if it comes to a gameplay, aspect, like where it boosts the gameplay, or you can only play the game because of microtransactions, like energy games, that's where it comes to be a problem. But I think that's about it for this session here, boys. Look at that smile on that face. That's a beautiful little smile we got there.